Have you ever hopped into worldwides or regionals and played against people that just leave you in the dust? Those people might just be doing some of these shortcuts that you didn't think existed. Good thing some of these shortcuts are really easy, and I'm here to show you just how easy, because if I can do it, then so can you. I'm Danny Fathom, and these are 10 easy but necessary shortcuts in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Before we get into this video, be sure to like the video and let me know in the comments if you like these types of videos. And subscribe, of course. Yeah! The first shortcut that we're going to be talking about in this video is also the first track in the game, Mario Kart Stadium. There are a lot of small shortcuts that can save you time, but the easiest and main one is the U-turn through the pipe. It's as simple as charging up a super mini turbo through the grass. Once released, all you got to do is hop through it and you're good. This is always worth going for over going around, especially since it's really hard to mess up and it saves you this much time. Now, if you got that dog in you, you could also go for these shroomless shortcuts, but they're a little harder. Charge up a mini turbo and release it early, then hop through the grass and trick off the ramp. If you release your mini turbo too late, you can get stuck in the grass and lose all your speed and it'll be slow. It also skips a potentially important double box. Next, charge up a mini turbo and cut this big chunk of grass here. I wouldn't recommend going for this lap 1 since you're missing out on some coins. This one is the hardest of them all. Charge up an ultra mini turbo and aim for the left wall, bounce off the wall, and let the glider release your mini turbo. From there, you just hold up left over the pipes and over the shortcut. This is worth going for online if you can get it down, since you also get a double box in the process. Next, we're going to be talking about bone dry dunes. The intended way to get up to this top path is to bounce off the sand geyser, but you can also do it by going the faster route. You'll want to aim for the right side of the ramp and for the Bowser statue's eye, then adjust and land on the top path. This isn't that much faster than the bottom path, but you can get a double box going for the right side of the ramp and an extra item set on the top path. So this is definitely worth going for. There's also the shroomless shortcut in the beginning, but it skips the first item set and doesn't save enough time for it to be worth it. Let's get some DLC going. Now I'm going to show you Sky Garden, because you can take this ending shortcut shroomless. Just charge up a super mini turbo and hop through the off-road. Simple as that. You do lose some coins here from going around, but it's so easy and saves so much time that it's worth going for every time. Staying on the DLC, I'm going to show you Boo Lake, because you can do this underwater shortcut shroomless. Instead of tricking on the last ramp, charge up an ultra mini turbo, aim for this single right bush, release, and hop through the off-road. Just like Sky Garden, you miss out on a couple of coins, but saves a good chunk of time, and of course, it's easy, so there's no reason to not go for it. If you want to be extra, there's something else that saves close to half a second. Instead of tricking off the ramp here as intended, ride along the rail next to the ramp, and you'll get significantly less airtime and more forward momentum. This works on both the left side and the right side. A casual's nightmare, this next shortcut is on Rainbow Road and the Special Cup. This is one of the more fun looking shortcuts and also one of the easiest. Simply just aim for the anti-gravity bumper and drive straight off and you'll land back on the track. Yeah. It's that easy. It's also much less effort than going around, and of course, it saves a good amount of time. There's a faster method to this shortcut, but it's a little harder. While still aiming for the anti-gravity bumper, charge up a super mini turbo, then release it as soon as you land. If you're a kart god with enough practice, this should be a cakewalk. Going from a casual's nightmare to a casual's paradise, next we're going to talk about Big Blue. There's a few shortcuts we're going to be talking about here. If you're new to the game, you probably have no idea that these shortcuts existed. However, as impressive as these look, the low gravity on the track makes them really easy. For the first one, instead of tricking off the ramp, you're going to charge an ultra mini turbo and cut off a small bit of the track. Then immediately after, you're going to charge a super mini turbo or an ultra mini turbo, depending on your kart combo, and cut another piece of the track. Obviously, this makes it so that you don't have to drive around the track. You do skip an item set here, but it's usually not worth going for unless you're bagging. Then on section 3, go on the purple path. Up here, you're going to be charging a mini turbo off of the purple path and land on the green path. Then immediately after, charge a super mini turbo back onto the purple path. If you hold down left while still drifting, you can get more airtime and cut off a bigger chunk of the track. It's way better than going around, as you can see here. Like I said before, these look really impressive, but are actually relatively easy to pull off. This next shortcut is on Mario Circuit from Mario Kart Super Circuit. Normally, you don't want to be front running this track since it's a good track for sandbagging, but just in case you are, listen up. At the end of the track, charge up a super mini turbo and hop over the tires. You'd be surprised about how late you want to hop over the actual tires. And don't worry, even if you mess it up, you don't lose a terrible amount of time, so it's worth going for every time. This one requires a mushroom or two, but it's pretty important in a lap 3 situation. You can approach this a couple of different ways, but take the glider wide and drive on top of the wall. This is important, especially if you don't have a star that can get you through the lap 3 chaos safely. This also drives over the aforementioned shroomless shortcut. This next one is pretty obvious, but a lot of people think it's risky, so let me show you why it's not. This one is on TikTok Lock. It's the ending shortcut where you drive onto the hands. The best way to approach it is charge an ultra mini turbo and release it once you're over the trickable ramp, then trick off the next ramp and keep her going. Personally, I like to pump the brakes a little bit when I go over the hands so I don't get any airtime. You can also do this on lap 3, but only perform this if you're confident, for it's usually an act of desperation. This next shortcut is one of the most important shroomless shortcuts in the game because it saves the most time. This next one is on Hyrule Circuit. After you trick on the ramp and land, immediately charge a mini turbo, release it a little early, then hop over the off-road. You have no reason to not go for the shortcut if you're front running, because this saves so much time that even if you mess it up, it's still faster than going around. The reason why you want to mini turbo and hop early is because mini turbo boosts in the off-road get completely eaten up and you lose all your speed. Even if you don't hop all the way over the off-road, just keep hopping until you make it back onto the road. I'm gonna keep this one brief, but on lap 3, you'll want to take the cut a little bit wide because there's a plant there. The second to last one I'm gonna show you is on Thwomp Ruins, right in the beginning of the race. As soon as the race starts, charge a super mini. You usually won't get the super mini turbo charge until you're off-road, but commitment is everything. Once you got it, release it and hop through the off-road, then you should have enough speed to trick off the ramp. This is 100% worth it on laps 2 and 3, but if you're playing with a lot of people that already know the Streamless shortcut, it might be in your best interest to just go around on lap 1, because if you get bumped off the ramp, or even worse, the track, you'll lose a good amount of time. Plus, going around will award you a coin or two. Now, the last one I'm going to show you does require a mushroom, but it saves the most amount of time. Plus, of course, it's really easy. This one is on Snowland. This shortcut is so detrimental that most players opt to sandbag this track. Charge up a mini turbo, aim just to the right of the snowman, use your shroom about here, then quickly release and hop. Sometimes you'll land in the off-road, but obviously that's way better than driving all the way around the shortcut and losing a massive amount of time. If you can get all these shortcuts down, you'll be gaming in no time. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments and I'll be taking suggestions. That being said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep your eyes peeled for my tryhard series, which is some competitive Mario Kart. Thanks for watching. See ya!